this in conjunction with
Selamat pagi dan selamat sejahtera pada Prof, Dokter dan tuan-puan. Boleh dengar suara saya? Terima kasih. Sebelum itu saya mengucapkan terima kasih kepada yang hadir pada pagi ini dalam sesi taklimat penubuhan syarikat pemula, startup dan juga syarikat terbitan spin-off Universiti Malaysia Sabah yang pertama kalinya kita masih menunggu beberapa peserta yang akan join dalam sesi taklimat ini yang akan disampaikan oleh pengarah Pusat Pengurusan Inovasi dan Pengkomersialan Profesor Madya Dr. Jidan Janaun yang akan mengambil sesi taklimat ini sebentar saja lagi. Okey, tanpa membuang masa, kita menjemput Profesor Madya Dr. Jidan Janaun, pengarah Pusat Pengurusan Inovasi dan Perkomersialan untuk sesi taklimat penubuhan syarikat pemula dan syarikat terbitan Universiti Malaysia Sabah.
Terima kasih, Mix. Selamat pagi semua. Jelaskah? Coba thumbs up dulu kalau boleh dengar. So first of all, Pusat mengambil kesempatan ini mengucapkan selamat Tahun Baru Cina kepada yang merayakan Tahun Baru Cina dan selamat menikmati yang telah merayakanlah bersama kan. So alright, saya tengok yang berdatangan ini masih banyak actually. Kalau ikut survei yang telah kami hantar dalam 60 lebih yang menyatakan minat untuk menubuhkan syarikat.
Syarikat apa?
Halo? Ya, pada Okey. Masih banyak. Mungkin kita bagi ruang sedikit masalah kan, ada ramai masuk ini yang hubungan SEO macam Dr. Rainer. menarik kita punya topik nih. Semua mau jadi kaya. Alright, tunggu sekejap dan kalau mikrofon tidak jelas. Okay, so appreciate yang telah datang lebih awal lah ya. So mungkin 2-3 minit macam tu lah. Okay, Mix mungkin boleh share slide sudah. Selamat pagi, selamat sejahtera yang baru join. Kalau ikut planning kami 1 jam saja taklimat nih, tapi kalau menarik we have all the time ya, so don't worry. So we can have time to discuss with you.
Sebentar dokter.
Siapa yang belum sarapan boleh buat kopi. Tenang-tenang kita cerita macam mana kita buat duit. Saya akan guna 2 bahasa ya, slide saya prepare dalam bentuk dalam bahasa Melayu. Tapi saya tengok ramai juga our friends expatriate ya. So I will speak in English, but the slide in Malay. But I will narrate lah, campur-campur bahasa ya.
Mohon maaf ada sedikit masalah teknikal. Selamat pagi sekali lagi bagi yang baru masuk. Kita ada 50 sudah nih. Based on the survey, supposed to be 60 plus. Alright, I think to be fair with semua yang sudah hampir masuk, I think bolehlah kan kita mula nih. Kita tunggu lagi sekejap.
Alright, so thumbs up itu kita anggap anu lah. Boleh teruskan. So, okay, good morning again everyone. Jidon here from PPIP. So it is our great pleasure to give you the briefing. So the title of this briefing is Taklimat Perkembangan lah. So I use the word perkembangan there, progress, because this dasar is still being processed, yeah, being processed. So, however, we received requests so that we can give the briefing, so that the lecturers, students, staff can have a head start even before the policy is being implemented. So that is the spirit here. So I would like to emphasize a few keywords. Okay, Sarekat Pemula, this is BM, it's basically startup, and Sarekat Terbitan, spin-off, and short form of startup and spin-off is SUSO. So we actually borrow this short form from USM, so they champion this policy, and what we have prepared here actually a benchmark of all these policies amongst public universities as well as So next slide, please. So the setting of our session today, I will do the presentation first, and at the end we do discussion, yeah, Q&A like that. So you can type the question on the chat box, and Mix can note down. If I, for example, want to address it right away, which is line maybe with slide, I will advise. I will answer that question at the end of my presentation today. Yeah. Okay. So I would like to start by again giving you the status. Okay. So the policy that we have already prepared is now being processed. It has already been approved at the JKPI level. As you all know, JKPI is the highest committee for research and innovation in this university. So after that, this paper is going to be tabled and get queried and approved by JPU. So this does not go to Senate because this is more to operational, making money, not so much on academic. That's why the management says it should go to JPU instead, yeah, for your information. So currently we are still waiting for the JPU to call us to present. We've been pushing this because we also being pushed by the management to make sure the policy is endorsed as soon as possible, so the lecturers, everybody can kickstart the activity. Yeah. So this is the situation. So I would like to emphasize that what I am going to present might change when we receive the feedback, but at least you guys have the idea of what is being tabled, and at least you have some ideas and prepare. But I would like to emphasize that this has not been endorsed yet. Yeah. So this is basically like a briefing so that you know what is going on in our university. Okay. So all right, let's move on.
Open 公司
Okay, next slide, next.
method guideline.
Okay, so we will again give the briefing once it's approved, but this is basically our engagement with you all, so that you can prepare, and furthermore, you can approach our office already, so that we can work with you. Yeah. So all right, what drives us? So what drives us to do all this? As you all know, the strategic team of RMC has already completed their tour in all FAPI, and I believe all of you, if you are in the TD position and above, you might have listened to their presentation. So this Pindaan 2023 we've seen that the KPT has increased the mark for innovation, yeah, section E. So from 10 to 13. So what has been added there? It's actually the formation of companies, the SUSO. So previously, this SUSO is only, made mandatory to the research universities. But somehow now the ministry thought that all universities need to do this as well. So driving from this requirement and other reasons, so that's why actually the management has already decided to do this. So long before this pindaan is announced officially, the management has already actually knew because they were the one also in the committee to revise the garis panduan of MyRA. So, and what the management has decided, the management actually has asked PPIP to spearhead these new big things in the university. Yeah. So as you all know, another one was also asked to be carried out by our office, which is the consultancy, and this is the second one, second big things. So consultancy has already been approved, and now this is being approved. Yeah? Okay, maybe the rest you need to mute your mic so that it's gonna be clean. Thank you. All right. I want to emphasize these numbers, KPI UMS setahun. So basically, starting 2023, the KPT is asking for these numbers already. So our team now need to answer why. Probably because we haven't started. we don't have the policy yet. How can we come up with this? So this is our reasons lah. So we try to expediting as fast as possible. As you all know, we work to draft this policy actually since last year, early last year. So all the important stakeholders were involved lah, from Bendahari, UInvest, PPP, PUU, all the stakeholders were involved in the drafting the policy. So that is the background of this. And interestingly, there are two KPIs with regard to SUSO. Yeah. So one is active SUSO. Active means they have been making money and giving money to the university. This is the simple layman term lah. So we need to have 5, and we need to have 5 new. We are talking about every year. So we are here now 60 plus. So if 10% of you can, take up this challenge, and then we are all the way to fulfill our MyRA lah. But I would like to emphasize also here that the policy does not cater MyRA alone. We have greater interest because we think the right way to drive the university is not only solely on MyRA lah. All right, so the mark is pretty huge. So you look at the mark MyRA for active SUSO 1.5, meaning to say one companies is 0.3, and the new one is 0.5, which is 0.1 each lah. So that is high if we compare, for example, the papers capacity. Yeah? So that's why the way we look at this, unlike publication, because like almost everyone need to do. So for startup, it's not meant for everyone. It's not meant for everyone, but we would like to open because that's why we say if MyRA expect only 10, but if more, the more the merrier, So that's our spirit lah. Yeah. Okay. Next. Slide mix. All right, so I would like to give this definition because this definition is very important. So when we receive the MyRA glossary, this is how they define. In fact, for your kind information, different universities, KPT and MOSTI, they have different definition. This is interestingly with our countries lah. So however, being in this country, we need to look at the KPT as well as MOSTI. So the KPT has given their definition. So syarikat pemula adalah startup syarikat dalam peringkat pertama operasi. Biasanya dibiayai oleh pengasas keusahawanannya semasa tempoh permulaan awal yang berasaskan teknologi yang dibangunkan, syarikat pemula ya. So whereas syarikat terbitan atau spin-off company, penciptaan syarikat bebas melalui penjualan ataupun pengedaran saham baharu perniagaan sedia ada syarikat induk. Alright, so when we know this, we thought this is too broad for us and it doesn't really help us to draft the policy. So that's why in our policy, we actually have a more specific definition of this, which is this one. Next. So, okay, this is what we have drafted in the dasar. Okay, so definisi dalam dasar ya. So when we say startup, syarikat yang ditubuhkan berdasarkan idea atau pengalaman perniagaan dan belum mempunyai harta intelek yang telah dilindungi. So we broadly classify this into two. If you haven't had the IP or innovation yet, merely your idea, maybe you have experience here and there, we call you are a startup. Okay, you are a startup. But if you have already developed the innovation, you have the innovation and you have IP, okay, you have protected your IP, and then the company that you are establishing is called a spin-off company. So this is our definition. Why this matters? Because down the road, that helps us to classify the funding, classify the assistance that we are going to give to them. Okay, so you will go back to this definition later on, but I broadly classify. For example, I want to do the business, but I may ask you, what is your product? And you say, I don't have a product yet, but I have some idea. So then you are basically going to establish a startup. But if you come to us and say, I have developed this product, and then we thought this is a very good one, we filed the IP already, and you are a spin-off company. Yeah. So however, we will inline this with the greater definition so that when we claim our Myra point, we will get the point. So that is important for us lah. Okay, next. Okay, so again, the university has already knew this requirement. So they have included this requirement in plan strategic, yeah. So 2023 to 2027, and this strategic plan has already been endorsed by the university, the LPU. So I would like to extract one important KRA, key research area there, which is KRA 3. Yeah, this is basically handled by the portfolio of penyelidikan innovation, yeah, TNC PNI, yeah. And the KRA 3 is called translatable research. So there are 4 SO, strategic objective, okay, and then one of them is to establish an incubation hub for research and innovation. So as you all know, in order for this to get support, funding, etc., this needs to sit in the strategic plan of the university. So we managed to do that. That is how we make things happen. And I'm glad to tell you that this SO is official. And therefore, this is one of the reasons, according to the information I received, why it's take a little while to be tabled at JPU, because Bursa here and there need to check, because when this policy is takes place, the university need to provide funding, yeah. Especially when we are talking about setting up an incubation, it talks about funding. So they're in the process of really actually scrutinizing the budget, because as you all know, the budget has been reduced a lot, yeah. I believe you all know. Just to give you some magnitude of reduction of budget, yeah. So PNI used to receive like 10 million. Sometimes it was at one point 12 million all this funding, yeah. But this year only 2 million, yeah. So that's why the Bursa is really need to work out this. Okay. All right. Next. So we will go back to this one, incubation. How do we position this? Because this is actually the important integral part of the SUSO. Yeah. So this is our, I'll go back to this incubation hub later on. So let me just read out what is written in the policy. So pengenalan ya, penubuhan dasar SUSO University adalah bertujuan untuk memberikan panduan kepada warga UMS dalam proses penubuhan, pelaksanaan dan pengurusan SUSO University. So there are 4 objectives of aims of this policy. That's why I said the MYRA is just one of them. Okay, number 1 is meningkatkan aktiviti keusahawanan dalam kalangan warga UMS. Now I would like to emphasize the keyword here, which is warga UMS. Okay, warga is encompassing all the entities in UMS. So it includes lecturer, admin staff, pegawai, pelajar. Okay, guru, etc. As long as you are an active employee or member of UMS, you are warga. Okay, I would like to menekankan ini sebab then we know that semua orang now you need to know yang boleh membuka syarikat ini, not only lecturers. So kalau ada daripada Kakitangan Pentadbiran, I believe this is a good news for everyone, ya. Okay, so number 2, what we aspire to achieve in this new policy is we want to contribute to the formation of SME in Sabah, small and medium enterprise. So because we've been receiving like requests or probably another word complaint from the outside the how UMS can play a pivotal role in helping the community and industry. So this is our what we think is a strategic strategy, yeah, to achieve this. So number 3 is to increase the income of the university. So this is important. By now, I believe you know familiar with 2 terms, income generation and commercialization. So these are like similar, but they are not the same, yeah. Okay, just to give you the explanation, if you, for example, sell books or you have, trees or fish, and you sell and you get the money, that is not commercialization, yeah. That is income generation. Okay, but once that product, you have IP, the intellectual property, and this is the one that you license or you assign or you JV, etc. Then this is called commercialization, provided the fee is greater than 10,000. Yeah. So we want to open that definition so that whatever actually the stream, what important for the university is we have the money. So we have the money. So money talks here. Right, and number 4 is we would like to increase the income of the Warga University. So I know we thought we would like to increase the income. So this is actually the way to really utilize someone's expertise. Now you are legally allowed. So this is actually the purpose of this. Okay. So we don't want like you have a company, you have a business secretly, and you don't have a peace of mind running your business. So we want now you are officially allowed and you can make money, but with string condition, yeah, with the string attached. I will tell you the string attached later on. Okay, so and how you get this approval, yeah. Okay, next. Next slide, Max. All right. So I would like to share with you what I call as reality check. So when we draft the policy, we try to unpack what actually stopped us all this while. At the same time, we also learn from other universities like UKM, USM, UMK, all these universities, because they have already, advanced in this. And what are their issues? And what are our issues? So because when we have this opportunity to craft this policy, we want to have a policy that actually helpful. So that's why, we try to digest this. So these are the things that we actually discovered as we try to understand how to really facilitate or enable the UMS employees to have this, SUSO. So, okay, there are a few issues, 4 issues that we covered here. So number one, what's stopping us all this while, because we have this tugas hakiki. So I would like to give you a head start. Probably something that interesting. We need to continue to do the kerja hakiki. So meaning to say, lecturer, you still have to do your tugas hakiki, publishing paper, doing research, and doing teaching, etc. So for admin, same, sama juga. All your bebanan tugas masih sama. Pelajaran for student, same thing. No discount on their credit if they form companies, like that. So same goes to us. That's why we think this is not for everyone. That's why out of 1,000 plus, we are aiming 10 probably, like 1%. So those who can do this is the opportunity, but this is not a compulsory for us to do. But for us, since we have numbers that we want to deliver, we try to coach, we try to produce these people so that we can have the marks, as well as we really try to make this happen. So the good news is all other universities are doing the same. And the good news is some of them become millionaire because of this policy. So that's why we try to have this policy as well, so that those who are there, then you can grab this opportunity. So number 2, okay, kekurangan atau ketiadaan kemahiran dan pengalaman dalam mengendalikan penubuhan syarikat. So this is something that when we go down to the ground, we came to know that yes, it's true enough. When, for example, you have a product, how to set up a company, many people have no idea. Like how to register, akta syarikat, buka account, pay your income tax, etc., etc. So that is our issues here. And number 3 is kekurangan dana. Lack of financial support to establish this SUSO. And number 4, ketiadaan tempat untuk hub inkubasi bagi menempatkan syarikat yang ditubuhkan. We don't have a space, because when you open a company, the first thing they will ask you is the address. So you need to have an address. So at least now, if we have this incubation, then you have the address, and then the company is functional. So this reality check, the issues that we face, we crafted our policy to address this. So that is our so-called our effort to come up with a policy that is as fair as possible for the lecturers, for the student staff, at the same time fair for the university. Okay, so that is the basis of what we craft here. Okay, next. Okay, now let's dive into this dasar, the policy. So I will share, because the document is quite lengthy. So I basically extract information that I think is important for you to know. Okay, so I will share the prinsip and penyataan dasar. Okay, next. So these are the principles of this policy. Number 1 is UMS is committed to encourage this pembudayaan keusahawanan, okay, entrepreneurship, acculturation. Number 2 is income generation. Okay, so we want to have another way to enhance the income of the university through this SUSO. Yeah. Number 3 is all these harta intellectual property and expertise of UMS can be fully utilized. Okay, why? Because we have been trying to, for example, license out or we assign out our IP, but our success is not as much. For example, we aspiring to have 20. So if no other company interested to commercialize, then the question is, why don't we commercialize ourselves? So that's why the question now is we don't have the policy. So that's why we want to have this policy, so that if you know the product is good, but no takers, but then you say, I want to do it myself. Or maybe you are in the position of, hey, I don't want to license this, I want to do it myself. So now we are creating this platform lah. Okay, so number 4, pengkomersialan yang tidak menggunakan harta intel UMS perlu melalui syarikat pemula memastikan memanfaat. So if you don't have IP, don't worry. So because as we dive in this, we realize actually not all people, lecturers, have the IP, but they have ideas, especially amongst the student. So that's why we want to open this. We don't want to tie, for example, the requirement that you must have IP. No. So if you have a brilliant idea, provided your idea is being accepted by the committee lah, yeah. I will go back to that. I will go to that slide later on. What are the requirements actually to set up a company? Yeah. Okay, but I want to emphasize here that learning from other successful incubators, other universities, they start from just their own curiosity, and they work it out until it becomes success. So we want to tap this potential as well, yeah. So we don't want to miss actually this type of thing. Number 5, setiap syarikat perlu bernaung di bawah hub inkubasi. Oke, setelah mendapat kelulusan sehingga bergenerasi ataupun diberhentikan. I will go to this one, but what does this mean? Because earlier on, remember I talked about the KRA 3, where we have SO4. So because knowing again all the issues, so what we intend to do is we're gonna have this incubation hub. So incubation hub is a physical maker space, okay, as well as it's a team. Yeah, I will explain greater detail later on. The idea is we want to help the lecturers, the staff, the student that had a good idea. Apa ada kayak menanya tuh? Okay. So I will go for this one. Ada di cover ni ya. Okay, semua tu just because this is in line you ask. The question is how does syarikat pemula differs then those enterprise registered under SSM, what the different benefits pro cons. So number 1, you are not allowed to have any companies without the university approval ya. Otherwise you break Akta 605. So kalau you ada syarikat tanpa pengetahuan universiti, tindakan undang-undang boleh diambil di bawah Akta 605. So that is the first perbezaan ya. So that is the perbezaan. This is about getting the permission from the university for you to have the company. So baca apa beza semua itu? No beza. Because later on dalam slide saya akan tekankan bahwa kita masih tertakluk kepada akta syarikat ya. Dan semua badan-badan yang memberi lesen di BKK etc. So we have to abide by this practice. But the issue now is how can you get the permission to have this? It's through this policy. Okay. So if by accident you have that and the reminder there, you are not allowed ya. So balik lagi saya sebelum tu. So that is sebelum tu lagi next. Belum habis lagi sekarang. Okay. So I want to also emphasize the word diberhentikan deh ya. Diberhentikan deh. So I will again explain about this. Okay, to be fair with the university. But the number 6, this is the policy principle that actually we want to ensure is there in our policy. Okay, because when we study all other, especially like UKM, when we visited UKM, they mentioned, in the old days, they used to have more than 100 actually startup companies. This is nothing new. But then they explained that none of these companies last more than actually 5 years. So then what is the issue there? The issue actually then, some company may be good only the first 1-2 years, but later on they have issues. So we want to have a policy that does not burden the university. So we want to have this policy that, yes, lecturer can have the company, but, university doesn't have the liability. So this is what we call as our fundamental lah dalam kita punya dasar nih. But then the question is, kalau macam tu apa universiti dapat? Nah, I will address that question later on ya. So it's basically like a win-win. We can set up the company, but university kalau dia bermasalah, nothing to do with me. Kalau kau untung, then I get the benefit. That kind of symbiotic relationship ya. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Pamin. Okay, now move on. So, all right, the next one, ini yang tadi soalan itu ya. So, whatever we do, we cannot like break all these akta-akta di luar sana ya. So, kita tertakluk. So, ada beberapa nama syarikat ini yang kita boleh terlibat. Sendirian Berhad, PLT, pemula pula adalah syarikat sendirian berhad, perkongsian liability terhad, perniagaan tunggal, perniagaan perkongsian. So these are what we allowed, and again we try to have a policy that does not trouble our lecturers down the road. This is something that we want to ensure to happen. Again, because your hakiki is lecturer, we don't want you to, have problem with your companies. We want you to maintain your lectureship, doing well, and you make money from your companies. That is the, the wish list of this policy. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Next. Alright, ini beberapa lagi. So for this policy, the tadbir urus setia is PPIP. Okay, until further notice lah from the management. Yeah, so far we are the one who is handling. Though we would like actually to work closely with you invest down the road. Yeah, but so far what the management aspires for PPIP to handle this smoothly and properly. Yeah. So number 2. Warga UMS yang telah mempunyai syarikat sendiri atau pemegang saham bersyarikat dalam syarikat tersebut sebagai syarikat pemula terbitan tertakluk kepada syarat-syarat yang dinyatakan dalam dasar dan garis panduan. We intentionally put this in the policy ya. So if you
finish this,
somehow
transliterally opinion is
Oke, terima kasih Dr. Lena. Oke. Kalau kamu secretly ada syarikat, good news, kamu boleh kasih masuk. So maksudnya it's now tidak ragu-ragu lah, tidak melanggar Akta 605 itu. Oke, so provided melalui proses yang sama. Oke. Nomor 3. Warga UMS yang terlibat dengan syarikat SUSO diberikan kebenaran melalui PTJ. PTJ still has the power here ya, the policy, because when we understand and try to see a functional policy, the PTJ, the dean, the pengarah of that institute is still in the position to allow to do this, because we don't want the faculty, bubar disebabkan semua buat company ya. Okay. So then we want to emphasize here that tugas hakiki. This is a long debated clause lah ya for your information. Can we, for example, allow the lecturer to for example, go for 3 years. But then we came to know that that will actually create havoc in the faculty. So the faculty, the dean is still in the positions to manage this. So this is the policy. Let's see how the university look at it. Yeah. The number 4, okay. But how we di awal tadi itu university tidak jadi bangsa. Pada masa yang sama, lecturer ni bila dia buat itu, dia memang betul-betul diberi peluang, because we understand at the same time, not easy masih mengajar dan buat company ini. It's not easy. So what we insert in the policy is, okay, fair enough, give the lecturer actually sabbatical whatever they deserve and pay them. We hope actually, okay, boleh. So yeah, soalan bodoh enterprise tuh, okay, this is something that we didn't put, yeah, because this is also we debate, heavily. We compare other university, what do they practice. Consensus actually, nobody want to allow lecturers to have enterprise, because the reason we know enterprise is simple for you to manage, but the liability goes to the person. So we don't want actually our lecturers to don't have that issue. So however, we didn't put this in the policy because we want to give a room for discussion between the applicant, the lecturers, as well as the committee. So this is the idea lah. So we didn't say not allowed here, but then maybe certain people with the nice track record and they are on the way to set up the Sendirian Berhad, then it is allowed. Okay, so that is basically the idea here, yeah. Okay, so all right, I be aware this is telah dibahas for your information lah. Okay, next. So nomor 5, warga UMS boleh memohon untuk menarik balik status syarikat secara sukarela. So we want to give you room within that when you are in the incubation, ya. So tertarik. Okay. So keenam, universiti berhak untuk menuntut ganti rugi akibat daripada penamatan SUSO dan mengikut terma perjanjian. Dan ketujuh adalah segala kos berkaitan penubuhan syarikat pemula adalah di bawah tanggungan warga atau pemegang aset terbesar dalam syarikat atau mana-mana tabung, melainkan peruntukan mengurus universiti. So what does this say? University will, because for your information, we try to have a tabung, ya, grant for this. So meaning to say, when you are approved to set up the company, you are eligible to get certain fund. But we cannot use the fund for administration for this purpose. This is internal lah. This is the clause is inserted by our bendahari lah for this one. Okay. All right. Next. All right. Now let's me introduce you this idea of hub incubasi atau incubation hub. Oke, dasar SUSO bertujuan untuk mengatasi dan menyelesaikan permasalahan yang dihadapi tersebut dengan kaedah penubuhan hub inkubasi. Oke, so this incubation is under PPIP. We have set up, in fact, Mixed Use actually is our recruit for this purpose, ya. So we are one step ahead to really ensure to do this because we know it's not easy to do this. Okay, and then what we aspire to do, because again, when we look at other universities, even Unimas, they have a nice incubation hub. So we tell the management, at least we have maybe like 4 incubation hub on campus, or maybe one is outside. The idea is that is the place for our approved SUSO to start their business, and then they get proper training assistance, and once they are, have strong wing, they can actually leave the hub and do their business lah. Okay. So konsep untuk permohonan penubuhan sendiri dibuat. So okay, I'll explain on this later. So we have a committee that assess your application. So once you are approved, and then now you go to the system lah. Okay, alright, next. Okay, so ini adalah kartun yang saya sediakan just to give a simplistic explanations of the process of this penubuhan susu ya. So okay, imagine macam ni, we have incubation hub, okay, that house. So incubation hub is a physical place, and it is also a team. Like you have these organizations of incubation hub unit ya. So when you want to apply to establish a susu, then you have to apply. So dalam permohonan ada komiti yang dilantik oleh universiti untuk menilai penilaian tu. So if this one also we want to simplify, we don't want every time we bring this paper all the way up to LPU to get approved ya. We want the university to turunkan kuasa, dan kuasa membenarkan cara menubuhkan syarikat ditentukan oleh jawatan kuasa ini. So this is our really wish list because we experience here ya, kalau too lengthy process, then that actually discourage everyone to set up a company. Okay, so kalau dia berjaya, maka dia akan masuk ke dalam incubation hub to hub inkubasi. Kalau gagal, keluarlah, apply lagi, baliklah. Alright, so dalam hub inkubasi, dia in 3 years, you are actually being incubated in this hub. So we provide monitoring, assistance, coaching, training ya, to the successful susu. So selepas 3 tahun atau lebih awal, okay, susu berkenaan boleh memohon untuk bergraduate. Kita guna istilah graduation. So this is the term that we coin here, meaning to say you are given the opportunity, prove it that you can do. So once you submit your application document, then there is a committee again to look at this. So later I will explain why
masuk saya. Betul masuk.
Okay, sorry. Okay, tadi ada sedikit gangguan. Okay, I will explain more detail on this, but I want you all understand the whole concept of this. Yeah? So the concept ini, okay, dia konsep dia bila, okay, I give you the analogy ya. Pensyarah A, dia ada produk dan dia apply untuk menubuhkan syarikat. Okay, then dia hantar permohonan, komiti menilai dan komiti meluluskan dia punya permohonan untuk menubuhkan susu. So bila lulus, dia akan masuk dalam hub inkubasi. So dalam hub inkubasi dia tidak perlu bayar rental etc. This is a different setting that we want ya, because some maybe already initiated this incubation hub and they minta bayaran etc. But we in our now garis panduan we don't charge because we want to incubate you, and di sini depending on the level of pensyarah tu. Kalau analogi tadi pensyarah A, dia tiada idea macam mana Benny menubuhkan syarikat, macam mana Benny baca akaun, macam mana buka akaun, etc. ni. So tim incubation hub itu akan bantu dia. So that is the idea lah. Bagi yang sudah well advanced, by all means just do the business lah, the activity itu. Okay, dalam incubation hub, tim incubation hub akan memantau perniagaan mereka ni. Okay, so every 3 months akan ada progress meeting untuk memastikan syarikat ini berjalan dengan baik. Okay, so selepas itu, apabila masalahnya dia sudah 3 tahun, profit bagus, dia dapat bantuan duit, Then dia bilang saya mau graduate. So graduate ini adalah istilah di mana dia akan meninggalkan incubation hub tuh, pergi ke dunia luar untuk full perniagaan lah. Oke, jadi sebelum dia keluar itu, polisi kita ya, sebab how we protect the university interest, kita dalam polisi ini menetapkan anak syarikat universiti ada first right to refuse up to 20% equity. Ini dalam bentuk injection dana ya. So akan ada company valuation berapa nilai 20%, kalau katakanlah 20% lah, maybe 500,000, depending on the valuation ketika itu ya. So that is the policy says, so that university interest kalau dia berminat, so you invest akan memainkan peran di sinilah ataupun mana-mana anak syarikat you invest. So ini adalah first right to refuse. Maknanya kalau discussion bagus, maka anak syarikat itu boleh pegang itu, tapi dengan syarat dia kena bagi duit tuh ya. To be fair with the company. Dia kena ada fund injection baru boleh join. Oke, kalau you invest minta more than 20%, the company lecturer tu has the right to say no. Oke, tapi then it is subject to discussion ya. So, alright. So, kalau dia sudah lepas, bermakna dia graduate sudah. Tiada sudah pemantauan terhadap di syarikat ya. But we still have a connection as an alumni, as an you now and SME lah. This is the policy. So, our policy is kind of different, but for your information, policy ini kita lihat di Europe actually lah, especially in Netherlands. Okay. So alright, so kalau gagal, ini nanti interesting ya. Bagaimana kalau orang yang hangat-hangat tai ayam tuh? So we gonna have explanation for this ya. Okay, now I want to go to the kelayakan umum ya. So ini adalah kelayakan umum. So you can now have a check whether you fulfill this. But again, sebab ini baru, this is our guidelines lah, ya. So if you certain maybe you tidak stick, subject to nanti penilaian lah. Number one is mendapat kelulusan daripada ketua jabatan. So your dekan pengarah need to approve. Okay. Kedua, bagi staff, bagi pensyarah, we have to have a good track record, 80% dalam tempoh 3 tahun berturut-turut. Bagi pelajar, kita benarkan pelajar ya, mesti PNJK 2.75 ke atas. Bagi pasca siswa pun boleh, mesti berstatus aktif, langsung aktif lah. Ke-6, dia mesti menyediakan business model canvas yang jelas dan meyakinkan. Ada ini banyak, we know banyak dia punya model, but we choose BMC just to have a basis for, for the applicant to have idea on how to run the business ya. And then mempunyai ahli pasukan yang bersesuaian dan mencukupi. So we know that teamwork is important. So when you apply, you need to show lah that you have the team ya. Okay. Yang berikutnya adalah mempunyai status sebagai inventor bagi harta intelek yang dihasilkan. So meaning to say, if you want to commercialize IP base, okay, then we prefer you are the one who actually the inventor lah. Okay. So mempunyai kemahiran dalam bidang yang dikomersilkan, this is very subjective, but if you have this expertise, marka tinggilah untuk kelulusan tuh. Dan mempunyai jaringan dan hubungan dengan pihak luar, this is important, especially if you have maybe the market sudah, you have some connection already, you have initiated something from your project, etc., etc. Ini memang akan memberi kelebihan ya. Okay. Dan yang terakhir adalah mempunyai pengetahuan dan pengalaman dalam perniagaan yang diceburi. Again, this is kelebihan, because kalau misalnya ini wajib, bagaimana kalau dia cuma ada idea? So ini kelebihan. That's why we want to see this as very competitive. Siapa yang 10 orang itu dibenarkan, etc., etc. ya. So okay. Okay. Alright, good soalan nih Dr. Rizal. Oke, saya jawab teruslah nih. Bakal tanyakan. So, kalau bidang lain, you have to convince the committee why you are allowed. For example, you are IT. but you are doing business on pertanian. So on paper tidak layak. But then you can say, saya IT tapi saya sudah buat bisnes, saya ikut saya punya colleague, my parents to do this all this while. So it can be. So we don't want to have a very macam mengikat peraturan, but at the same time to have higher chance for you to succeed. Okay, so that is the answer for that lah. Alright, so apa yang hub inkubasi ini nanti akan sediakan bantu ya? So we try to have khidmat setiausaha pejabat atau company secretary. So as you all know, kalau mau buka syarikat ni paling senang dapatkan company secretary. Diorang yang buat semua. So maksudnya at least incubation hub team ini ada pengalaman, pengetahuan tentang hal-hal ini ya. So membuka akaun syarikat, okay, ini pun kita dapati ramai yang tidak tahu akaun semasa, akaun bersama, etc. Okay, menyedia akaun penyata. This is also we want to provide training. Ada penyata akaun, cash statement, cash flow, etc. Bagi yang mungkin contohlah kan engineering, we buat just do innovation, but when we come to account penyata, rupanya ada 4 jenis account statement ya. So saya pun sudah tahu lah, tapi I mean this is something that when you try to set up a company, thing that we need to know lah. Alright, kelima adalah permohonan dana. So we try to have our own. But considering the challenges, constraints faced by our university, we need to go out and outsource the dana from outside lah. So the good news, there are many actually pendana di luar sana, macam Cradle, MDEC, Teraju, Kuskop, etc. lah. So we want actually the incubation hub to assist, to help the SUSO to get all this. So this is the idea lah. Okay, because again the spirit is pensyarah kita sudah busy. So kalau mereka dapat bantuan ini akan memudahkan mereka dan chances startup itu untuk berjaya lebih tinggi. So that is the spirit lah. Okay, so apabila bermula itu, when you set up dalam perjanjian yang kita buat nanti, you are the owner of this company, 100% yours. Okay, so bila mau graduate saja itu baru adanya invitation kepada anak syarikat universiti untuk praktek the business lah. So that is how we encourage the entrepreneurship, but we want to lower the risk of university because we don't want baru bermula university sudah pump in money, baru mula sudah involved. So because this is the story from other universities also lah. When university have their equity in the beginning, and the company closed down and they're basically losing. So we want to learn from their so-called failed policy lah. Okay. Alright, siapa nanti bayar? The answer for this adalah dana yang diberikan tu. That's why we understand this. Macam mana supaya pensyarah boleh buka ni? So that's why for your information semuanya, we try to get funding for this because we know company secretary ini kita kena bayar. So we try to have this funding so that all these actually can be smooth for the lecturer to get the company registered, etc. Ya. So inilah nanti akan ada dana. For your information, we are trying to actually get the university to give us 2 types of grant nih. Satu dana pra-pengkomersialan, satu dana SUSO. So dana SUSO ini yang once you are berjaya, you can access the dana lah. Oke. Penilaian ini penilaian syarikat ya. So ini pun loosely all defined, but the incubation hub team will closely monitor the syarikat ya. So prestasi syarikat akan dipantau. Perlu menunjukkan prestasi yang memperangsangkan dalam masa 3 tahun. Dalam masa 3 tahun, syarikat yang bernaung dalam hub inkubasi perlu membayar iuran pelesinan harta intelek. Nah, now here is the catch. So how does the university get their cake, their cut? So university punya mindset, we try to get as much MIRA point as possible. So that's why we say, okay, you need to pay us 10,000. You license this assign like sell out. Okay. So dalam masa 3 tahun itu, so that is the thing dia lah. So perlu bayar kepada universiti. Okay. So dipantau setiap bulan. Nah, kalau syarikat susu mengalami kerugian secara berturut dalam masa 2 tahun, serta atau yang didapati terdapat penyelewengan dalaman akan diberhentikan dan dikeluarkan dari hub inkubasi. So that is the thing lah. Okay. Alright. So yeah, we try to find this fund. We ada di sana dan our team is trying to creatively lah dapat funding. Tapi tiada funding, we try to access dari luar. So okay. Next. By the way, siapa-siapa yang berminat bantu ataupun ya, we welcome you to assist us in these matters ya. Okay, now this is important also policy. Ini garis panduan kita ya. Kriteria penempatan SUSO sebelum bergraduasi. So this is our risk management here ya. Semana tahu kita kasih approve 20 syarikat. Dan yang serius hanya 10 lagi itu menculas, etc. Then how the university actually minimize the risk. Okay, so kriteria penempatan SUSO sebelum bergraduate ya, meaning within the 3 years, because we don't want to wait 3 years kalau sudah memang indicators tidak akan berjaya begitu ya. Syarikat tidak mempunyai aktiviti perniagaan dalam tempoh 6 bulan berturut-turut. Maksudnya you have been approved, but tidak pun buat apa-apa aktiviti bisnes tu. So 6 months then we will just cut. Ini macam tutup grant lah yang tidak kena buka itu grant tu. Okay. Number 2 is syarikat telah beroperasi dalam keadaan kerugian selama 2 tahun berturut-turut. Meaning to say kalau you 2 tahun berturut-turut, we don't have to wait until the 3rd year. So we will terminate. Okay. Syarikat menyalahgunakan status yang memberikan reputasi universiti terjejas. Pemilik syarikat tidak mematuhi undang-undang peraturan termaktub di bawah penuaan universiti dan Malaysia. Ini I think bisa general lah biasa. Okay. Syarikat telah menjalankan aktiviti yang tidak selari dengan tujuan asal penubuhan syarikat. This is very important. Masa apply buat ini tapi bisnes lain. So ini pun akan antara yang kena knock out lah. Okay. Pihak syarikat dikenakan tindakan tertentu oleh pihak universiti atau syarikat telah ditutup secara sukarela ataupun digulungkan melalui perintah mahkamah. So this is the kriteria penempatan. Okay, next. Okay, Encik Awang bagi komen sana yang startup 6 bulan. 6 bulan ini maksudnya aktiviti ya. We don't expect dia terus ada duit, tapi sudah ada aktiviti. So maksudnya kalau dia diluluskan tapi tiada sebarang aktiviti, selepas 6 bulan memang dasar ini mengatakan company itu harus tutup. Ya, semaksudnya dia need to ada dia punya aktiviti. Aktiviti ini could be anything lah. But they need to show that they have done the efforts to kasih jadi itu startup. Tidak boleh diam-diam. Okay, apa penalti kalau ditamatkannya? Ini this is the risk management here ya. So this is the catch. That's why we might be excited, but again the university wants this. So penalti akibat penamatan SUSO. So perlu mengembalikan sebarang baki dana yang diperoleh daripada universiti ataupun pihak luar. So if you receive the funding, the dana SUSO, then any balance that you have, will be taken back by the university. Kedua, perlu memulangkan semua perbelanjaan yang telah digunakan menggunakan dana universiti ataupun pihak luar. So ini macam jadi loan ya. Nah, dana itu bukan kalau you successful, dana become grant. Kalau tak successful, it become loan, meaning you have to repay. Okay, then you need to vacate the incubation hub lah. Okay. Alright. So thank you Dr. Pamini. Yes, that is correct ya. So activities seperti testing, market analysis, pitching, these are the activities. So we want to see once SUSO is incepted, approved, then they need to do all this activity lah. Okay. Next. Okay. So this is interesting. The graduation punya kriteria dari hub inkubasi mempunyai untung bersih melebihi 5,000 sebulan. So katalah 1 tahun saja, then you untung bersih sudah 5,000. You can apply ya. Boleh apply untuk bergraduate. Okay. Mempunyai keuntungan dalam tempoh 3 bulan berturut-turut. Not necessarily one, dia memang beruntung. Then you have the market already and you establish, you have your brand, and then you pay 5% keuntungan sebelum cukai kepada UMS bagi harta intelek yang dilesenkan. Meaning to say like 1 year you show that you can pay already ya, the pelesenan tu. Then kedua yang berikutnya adalah you have the investment, capital investment from you invest or other entities. Meaning to say that you are ready to really take off lah. Okay, and then now you can vacate basically the space that you are sitting lah in incubation hub. So we try to make it easy so that you are free actually now to do the business lah. So this has to be achieved within the 3 years. Okay, next. Okay, so what will happen once you graduate? This is an interesting story. We basically, the connection is with that equity. Kalau tiada equity misalnya, then you are basically a free companies out there. Now you are legally allowed to do. And then what can you, so now we expect you to morally give back to the university in a few forms lah. Okay, royalty. Depending on the agreement, maybe if we have like exhibition, we invite you and you support the university lah as an alumni SUSO, alumni SME begitu ya. So we also encourage you to give grant industry kepada new lecturers, new student. Once you have become a successful SUSO, latihan industri kepada pelajar dan mungkin ada kerjasama permohonan project. These are the avenues that we want to keep the rapport between university and the SUSO alumni lah. Ya macam tu. Okay, next. Alright, itu saja. Terima kasih everyone. So now kita buka kepada Q&A. Most of the question yang dalam chat box I have already answered. So if you have any question, I'm happy to answer.
Selamat pagi, Dr. Jedon.
Selamat pagi.
Saya mau tanya, Pak. Ini saya tadi awal pertanyaan.
Okay. Oh, ini good nih.
Briefing. Kalau kita pilih nama company mesti ada nama UMS dalam ataupun terbuka? Maksudnya
terbuka. In fact, kalau kamu mau taruh nama UMS, sebab UMS sedang membuat dasar penggunaan logo dan nama UMS. So UMS mungkin akan kenakan yuran lagi kalau fee kalau kamu gunakan logo UMS lah. So it's advisably boleh buat itu, but apa yang macam logo UMS itu semua tidak boleh.
I see. So masuk nama UMS contohnya, contohlah kita bilang Jaya UMS contoh. Tidak semestinya kan, ataupun terbuka kepada syarikat
Ya, tidak semestinya. Ya, sebab nama UMS tidak menjamin yang dia ada pegangan di situ. Okay. So that's why the policy macam tu.
So dalam syarikat ni UMS hanya ada 5% share atau macam mana tadi? Lupa saya.
Oh, kalau share masa dia masuk incubation hub, UMS belum ada apa-apa peranan. Dia cuma akan bagi dana. Dia akan tanya, we try to get 100,000 actually ya. Tapi depending on the berapa budget lah, we can say. So sama ada university dia bagi 20,000. Sama ada university yang ada kemampuan tu, memang dia bagi up to I think 100,000 juga beberapa bila kita compare lah. So kita di sini dalam paper yang kita serahkan kepada universiti kita mau tawarkan sampai 100,000. Dana susah tu ya.
Dr. Jidon, perhaps you reckon a need assessment. That means depends on the pertubuhan. If they are startup, what is their need assessment in terms of funding? Then perhaps PPI can actually then work out the funding rather than fixing one specific amount for it, but based on the need assessment, then they can be provided assistance.
Yeah. Totally agree, Aitil. That is the policy ya. Yang 100,000 tu just a ceiling. But it's like apply grant nanti tu. You have to write there lah. What are the thing? What do you need? Because if your business doesn't require that much, and then your risk is lower untuk repay back, why do you have to ask for 100,000? Maybe only 20K, even maybe less than that. But we want you to have the money to pay the company secretary, etc., etc. lah.
Okay, last question. Can it be in the form of consortium? Contoh kita buka company dengan UMS, kan, under UMS, and then we have another partners from other industry dan to join. Ini as a part of consortium, Pak. They use us as a macam advisor or founding dalam itu consortium lah.
Okay, memang ini kita ada bincang juga. Jawapan dia actually depending on your peranan dalam konsortium itu ya. So you need to advise, explain to the panel what is the role, because our mindset in the policy is how we protect you. Meaning to say you can really succeed here, and then you can make money, and the university will get their cut. If your JV, this is basically like JV, yeah, very clear. You say our role here is this one. So itu yang kita penting, because what we want is there must be an element of UMS IP dalam tu. So kalau dia ada, then you need to sit down and get more detail about the bentuk konsortium tu lah.
Yeah, because to put them into the picture kan, they have to put money in the company kan.
Yeah.
So it's okay. I'll prepare the proposal for you.
Dr. Jidon.
Yes.
I saw your slide just now. Yang sudah mempunyai syarikat boleh daftar kan?
Yeah.
That means are we allowing pensyarah sekarang untuk terlibat sebagai CEO ataupun owner of any syarikat di luar?
Tidak. Polisi ini belum lulus ya. Klausa itu mengambil kira kalau somewhere, I don't know how it happened lah, maybe you through your anak syarikat kah dengan you invest sebelum ni, ataupun selama ini kau telah dapatkan kelulusan daripada universiti. So but certain thing that may be vague, or I don't know if macam you have that company but you didn't report to the university and now you want to report it. That is actually the meaning of that clause lah. Tapi bukan macam membenarkan sekarang, no.
Okay. So kita tunggu lulus nih polisi lah kan, baru kita boleh buat.
Yes.
Okay. So berbalik kepada soalan Dr. Bona tadi itu, kalau joint venture itu UMS tidak ada share lah kan, dia cuma pungut commission saja.
Yes, but your role there, the policy is you must have this IP punya involvement. But we also give room there, explain earlier, so tidak semestinya. Kalau yang macam tu, how there must be a way for you to give back to the university. So if that is clear, then it's fine.
Okay, so misalnya ada IP to guarantee return of investment. Kalau tidak ada IP, that means based on share lah.
Yes.
Return of the funding and dana also.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So we want to buka ni kepada case macam tu ya. I don't have a IP but we have some business. Am I allowed? So the answer is in what way UMS get their portion?
Okay, so based on the share, right?
Yeah.
based on the first agreement when they formed the JV.
But
So,
UMS may not partake, yeah, because first the policy is UMS will not partake in the business.
Okay.
So this is already like decided. But you invest, maybe in that situation lah. But UMS ni the policy ni kalau you can do the business, but you have to give us the 5% lah, or upon
the 5% lah kan?
Yeah, upon the
At least 5% lah.
Yes.
Okay. Clear.
Okay, Encik Awang Ahmad, Dr. kalau so, okay, ada dua consultancy and firm company ini tidak sama. Kalau misalnya jadi guru tuition, then dia buka syarikat, then that can go to the SUSO. The point is dia mesti form the syarikat. So kalau dia buat jadi guru tapi tidak buka syarikat, then dia tidak fulfill lah. So as long as dia buka syarikat as a service, can. Ada lagi? Adakah jelas pembentangannya sebab tidak mau bertanya sudah? So round 1, round 2. Oh, ada soal lagi. Kalau buka syarikat di luar incubation hub, contoh kilang di Sandakan. Oke, kalau di luar physical incubation hub boleh, tapi still under the pemantauan within the 3 years ya. So that's why earlier I said ada setengah mungkin company dia terus ada di luar. Tapi that's why the concept of incubation hub tu the first 3 years you will be dipantau dengan rapi oleh incubation hub lah. Ya. Yeah. So bila diluluskan ni last time saya bilang April, but now masih menunggu untuk dibentang di JPU ya. So we've been trying very hard to get this dibentang, tapi kami belum dapat tarik lah. So dia punya senario macam tu, once dia sudah bentang di JPU, then buat apa pembetulan, the next level will be in the JPU lah, LPU. So LPU ni agak kerap juga actually bermesyuarat, JPU pun agak kerap. So that's why the university need to approve this as soon as possible, otherwise we are losing marka merah tu. So ini yang saya selalu ingatkan universiti lah, semakin lambat universiti approve ni, kita putih matalah merah semua ni. Ada lagi soalan? Oke, ada soalan lagi Kak? So again, terima kasih semua. I think jelas lah tuh kan. So kalau ada soalan pun you can jumpa kami, datang here and we can explain further. What I would like to emphasize again, paper ini belum diluluskan, telah diluluskan di JKPI dan sekarang ini di peringkat kelulusan JPU. Oke, Jabatan Kuasa Pengurusan Universiti itu. So lepas lulus di situ pergi lagi ke lembaga pengurusan universiti LPU. That is the last and the highest lah. And after that approve, then we will wartakan ini dan implement lah. Ya. So right, over to you, Mix.
Oke, terima kasih Dr. Jidan, pengarah PPIP tadi telah mengungsikan seksi taklimat bersama dengan seksi taklimat penubuhan SUSO UMS lah. So untuk attendance saya akan share sebentar share lagi. Saya rasa sesi taklimat itu saja, dan sesiapa yang masih ada persoalan boleh berhubung terus dengan saya lah di PPIP. Mungkin kita boleh untuk kali terakhir kita boleh buka kamera kita bersama untuk sesi bergambar bersama. Oke. 1, 2, 3. Oke, sekali lagi 1, 2, 3. Oke, dengan itu berakhirlah sesi taklimat penubuhan suso di Universiti Malaysia Sabah. Terima kasih kepada Profesor, Doktor, dan Tuan-Puan yang telah hadir pada sesi taklimat ini. Sekian, terima kasih.
Oke, terima kasih semua.
Terima kasih
Baik.
Prof. Jidon, terima kasih.
Siap-siap Pak, bila keluar satu dasar kamu berpusu-pusu apply ya.
Thank you.
Mau tunggu jadi jutawan Pak Dr. Nomi itu.
Thank you.